The King of Glorious Sutras called the Exalted, Sublime, Golden Light. Chapter 1. The chapter on the preamble to the King of Glorious Sutras, the Sublime Golden Light. Homage to all past, future, and present Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, Pratyeka Buddhas, and Sarvakas. Thus I have heard at one time. The Tathagata entering Buddha's domain of experience, the profound sphere of reality, at Vulture Peak expounded, to the supreme Bodhisattvas, who were pure and stainless, this King of Glorious Sutras, the Sublime Golden Light, which is extremely profound upon hearing, and profound upon examination. The Buddhas in the four directions confer their blessings, from Akshobhya in the east, Ratnaketu in the south, Amitabha in the west, and Dunda Bisvarha in the north. In order to extinguish all unwholesome deeds, I will proclaim this auspicious sublime discourse that exhausts all negative karma, grants all peace and happiness, completely eliminates suffering, which is adorned with all that is glorious, and is the foundation of omniscience. Granting blessings, this I shall explain. Sentient beings whose senses are defective, whose life expectancy has ended or is fading, whom the gods have turned against, who are burdened by misfortune, hated by their loved ones, or oppressed as household servants, in conflict with one another, afflicted with decline in material wealth, grief-stricken and miserable, ridden with fear and stricken by poverty, troubled by stars, planetary bodies, and fierce demonic spirits, who see excruciating nightmares following grief and fatigue, they should bathe well to render themselves clean, and listen to this sublime sutra. Should those with virtuous intent and pure mind adorn themselves well in clean garments, then listen to this sutra on the profound, the domain of Buddha's experience. Through the awe-inspiring power of this sutra, the suffering of all creatures, the likes of which cannot be endured, will be forever pacified. Protection will be offered to them by the guardians of the world, their ministers and army chiefs, tens of thousands of millions of yakshas, the great goddess Sarasvati, and the goddess who dwells in the Naranjana, by Hariti, mother of Bhutas, the earth goddess Druda, by the Brahmin kings and kings of the 33, the powerful kings of serpents, kings of Kinnaras, and kings of Asuras, likewise by the kings of Garudas. They with their clans and might will arrive, along with their mounts, and unfailingly day and night offer protection to beings. I will clearly expound this sutra on the profound, the domain of Buddha's experience, the secret of all Buddhas, difficult to find in tens of millions of aeons. Those who hear this sutra, those who cause others to hear it, those who rejoice upon hearing and make offerings to it, for tens of millions of eons shall be venerated by gods and nagas, humans and kinnaras, asuras and yakshas. For beings without merit, the store of their merit will grow into a limitless, incalculable, inconceivable mass. Fiercely they will be protected by Buddhas in the 10 directions, likewise also by Bodhisattvas engaged in the profound. Clad well in clean garments, wearing well-perfumed clothes, possessing a mind firm with love, without distraction, one should honor this sutra. Render the mind spotless, put forth effort to make it expansive and intensely clear, then listen to this sublime sutra. Those who listen to the sutra will be acclaimed among humans, attain an excellent human existence, and live a life of comfort. Those into whose ears this sublime discourse is echoed will have merit roots refined, and numerous Buddhas will extol them. This ends the first chapter, the chapter on the preamble to the King of Glorious Sutras, the Sublime Golden Light. Chapter 2, the chapter on the span of the Tathagata's life. Furthermore, at that time, during that period, In the great city of Rajagriha, there dwelt the Bodhisattva, the great being Ruchirakatu, who had venerated previous Buddhas, cultivated roots of virtue, and rendered service to many hundreds of thousands of millions of Buddhas. He thought to himself, what cause and what condition will cause Lord Shakyamuni to live for only 80 years? That is such a short life. Furthermore, he thought, the Lord has himself declared, there are 2 causes and 2 conditions which prolong life. What are the 2? They are namely renouncing killing and giving food wholly. As for the Lord Shakyamuni, he renounced killing for many incalculable hundreds of thousands of millions of aeons. He perfectly adhered to the path of the 10 virtuous actions. He gave away food and external and internal objects completely. Not only that, he satisfied hungry beings with the flesh, blood, bones, and marrow of his own body. Then, while this sublime being entertained such thoughts with regard to the Tathagata, his house transformed into a vast and expansive palace made of lapis lazuli, embellished with numerous divine jewels, its color transformed by the Tathagata, and filled with perfumes surpassing those of the gods. In the 4 directions emerged 4 thrones made of divine jewels. These thrones came to be covered with mats of divine jewels and fine cotton raiment, and on those thrones appeared divine lotuses adorned with numerous jewels, their color transformed by the Tathagata. From those lotuses arose 4 transcendent victor Buddhas. In the east appeared the Tathagata Akshobhya. In the south appeared the Tathagata Ratnaketu. In the west appeared the Tathagata Amateus. And in the north appeared the Tathagata Dundaspisvaha. When those Tathagatas appeared on the lion thrones, the great city of Rajagriha was filled with bright light. That light pervaded all the 1,000 great thousand world systems in the 10 directions, and world systems as many as the grains of sand in the Ganges River. In addition, divine flowers rained down and divine music resounded. Through the power of the Buddha, all sentient beings in the 1,000 great thousand worlds too became possessed of the joy of the gods. Beings whose senses were incomplete became possessed of complete senses. Beings blind from birth saw forms with the eyes. Deaf beings heard sounds with the ears. Insane beings regained their sanity. Distracted beings became focused. Naked beings became clothed in garments. Hungry beings became full-bellied. Thirsty beings were quenched. Beings afflicted with illness became free of disease. Beings whose bodily organs were defective became possessed of complete organs. Many astounding events took place in the world. Upon seeing those Buddhas, the Bodhisattva Ruchirakatu was greatly astounded. He was satiated, pleased, joyful, and delighted. Feeling happy and ecstatic, with hands folded in the direction of the Tathagatas, he bowed in homage, remembering those Tathagatas. Then, reflecting on the qualities of the Tathagata Shakyamuni Buddha, he was vexed with misgiving about the lifespan of the Tathagata Shakyamuni Buddha. He wondered, how is it that the Lord Shakyamuni will live a brief life of only 80 years? Those Tathagatas, while knowing and realizing his thoughts, spoke to him thus. O child of noble family, do not think the Lord Shakyamuni will have such a short lifespan. Why? Because, O child of noble family, except for the perfectly and fully enlightened conqueror Tathagatas, we do not see among the worlds of gods, Mars, or Brahmas, among ascetics or Brahmins, gods, humans, or asuras, anyone who could perceive the furthest future reaches of the lifespan of the Tathagata, Lord Shakyamuni. As soon as those Tathagatas expressed this observation on the lifespan of the Tathagata Shakyamuni Buddha, then by the power of the Tathagata, the gods residing in the desire and form realms, including Nagas, Yakshas, Gandharvas, Asuras, Garudas, Kinnaras, and Maharajas, as well as the numerous hundreds of thousands of millions of bodhisattvas, gathered and went to the house of the Bodhisattva Ruchirakatu. Then those Tathagatas proclaimed in verse this explanation of the lifespan of Tathagata Shakyamuni to the entire gathering. The drops of water in all the oceans can be measured, but no one can measure the lifespan of Shakyamuni. To the finest particle, the atoms of Mount Sumeru can be gauged, but no one can gauge the lifespan of Shakyamuni. The number of the finest particles existing on this earth can be measured, but not the span of the conqueror's life. Although, through some device, one may wish to measure space, no one can measure the lifespan of Shakyamuni. The number cannot be found that explains. The fully enlightened Buddha lives this long, this many aeons, in aeon terms, such as 100 million aeons. There are two causes and two conditions for this: renouncing deadly violence and repeatedly giving plentiful food. The finite count of the lifespan of this great being that explains he will live these many aeons cannot be found. The aeons are indeed uncountable. Hence, have no doubt, not even the slightest doubt, the finite limit of the conqueror's life is not observed anywhere. Then, at that time, in that assembly, the Brahmin teacher and expounder called Kaundinya, along with numerous thousands of Brahmins, venerated the Tathagata. On hearing the voice of those great Tathagatas completely gone beyond sorrow, they gathered in that place at once. Bowing at the feet of the Tathagata, the Brahmin teacher and expounder Kaundinya said to the Tathagata, "If the Lord Transcendent Victor is merciful to all living beings, compassionate, desirous of serving, apparent to all, equal to the unequaled, illuminating like the moon, wisdom and knowledge glowing like the sun, if you look upon all beings as your son Rahula, then please give me some guidance." The Tathagata remained silent. Then through the power of the Tathagata in that assembly a confidence grew in the Lakshavi youth called Sarvaloka Priyadarshana, and he spoke thus to the Brahmin teacher and expounder Kaundinya. "Why do you seek guidance, great Brahmin, from the Buddha? I will give you the guidance you seek." The Brahmin said, "For the sake of honoring the Buddha, Lakshavi youth, and for the sake of receiving a share of relic powder, I wish to have a relic of the Buddha the size of a mustard seed. It is said that if one honors the relic, a size of a mustard seed, one attains lordship over the gods of the 33. Listen, O Lakshavi youth, to the King of Glorious Sutras, the Sublime Golden Light, which has fierce features and qualities such as being difficult for all Sravakas and Pratyeka Buddhas to know and to comprehend. O Lakshavi youth, the Sutra of Sublime Golden Light is in this way difficult to know and difficult to comprehend. Hence we Brahmins of remote areas wish to have the relic the size of a mustard seed, which, when held, either placed in a bowl or kept on the body, causes living beings to attain lordship over the gods of the 33. Why wouldn't you, O Lakshavi youth, wish to receive a relic the size of a grain of mustard seed from the Tathagata, and keep it in an urn, so that living beings may attain lordship over the gods of the 33? O Lakshavi youth, I seek such a boon." Then Sarvaloka Priyadarshana, the Lakshavi youth, replied in verse to the Brahmin teacher and expounder Kaundinya. "When white lilies grow in the Ganges swift currents, when crows become red, and cuckoos turn the color of conch, when palm fruit grows on the rose apple tree, and on the date tree mangoes form, at that time a relic the size of a mustard seed will appear. When from tortoise hair cloth shielding winter's bite can be woven well, then there will be a relic. When from the legs of gnats multi-storied towers can be well built, solidly firm and never shaking, then there will be a relic. When all leeches grow white teeth, sharp and big, then there will be a relic. When from the horns of rabbits ladders can be built well in order to climb high, then there will be a relic. Climbing this ladder, should a mouse eat the moon and harm Rahu as well, then there will be a relic. When bees that buzz in towns drink a pitcher of wine and make a dwelling in a house, then there will be a relic. When donkeys become happy, well versed in singing and dancing, their lips ruddy like a bimba fruit, then there will be a relic. When owls and crows flock to solitude, frolic together, and become friendly, then there will be a relic. When the leaves of the palasha tree become an umbrella made of 3 jewels that keep off the rain, then there will be a relic. When large ocean vessels, fitted with turning devices and sails, float and set sail on land, then there will be a relic. When owls move freely, lifting the Gandhamadana mountain in their beaks, then there will be a relic. After hearing these verses, the Brahmin teacher and expounder Kundinya replied to Sarvaloka Priyadarshana, the Lichavi youth, "Excellent, excellent, supreme youth. The son of Buddha, great orator, heroic and skillful in means, you have received this sublime prophecy. Listen to me, O youth, concerning the inconceivable greatness of the Tathagata, the protector and savior of the world. The realm of the Buddhas is inconceivable, and the Tathagatas are peerless. All Buddhas are ever serene. All Buddhas are perfectly emerged. All Buddhas are of the same hue. This is the suchness of Buddhas. The Lord Transcendent Victor is uncontrived. The Tathagata is unborn. His body, hard as Vajra, manifests emanated forms. Thus, no relic small as a mustard seed of the great sage is to be found. Since his body is without bone and blood, how can there be a relic? Yet to benefit living beings, skillfully, relics are formed. Dharmakaya, the complete Buddha. Dharmadhatu, the Tathagata. Akin to the deed of teaching the Dharma, these are the body of the Lord. Because I heard and I knew this, I sought this sublime gift, to make this truth plain and clear. Thus I initiated this discourse. Then, having heard such profound explanations of the Tathagata's span of life, all 32,000 sons of gods generated altruistic resolve for the peerless and perfect enlightenment. These minds were filled with intense joy and spoke these verses in a single voice. The Buddha does not enter complete nirvana, neither does the Dharma cease to be. Yet for the ripening of beings, Tathagatas manifest passing beyond suffering. The transcendent victor Buddha is inconceivable. Though the Tathagata's body is permanent, it pervades a multitude of forms, for the welfare of sentient beings. Having heard these discourses explaining the lifespan of the Tathagata Shakyamuni Buddha, from these Tathagatas and the 2 great beings, the Bodhisattva Vicharaketu was thoroughly satiated, pleased, extremely delighted, and filled with joy. He was overwhelmed with great bliss of mind. While this discourse on the Tathagata's span of life was given, inconceivable countless sentient beings generated altruistic resolve for peerless and perfect enlightenment. Then those Tathagatas vanished from that very spot. This ends the 2nd chapter, the chapter on the span of the Tathagata's life, from the King of Glorious Sutras, the Sublime Golden Light.
Chapter 3, the chapter on seeing the dream. Then the Bodhisattva Vicharaketu slid into sleep. He dreamed he saw a golden drum, its light shining like the orb of the sun. In every direction, countless inconceivable numbers of Tathagatas were preaching the Dharma, seated on lapis thrones at the foot of jewel trees, completely surrounded by numerous hundreds of thousands of retinues. Then he saw a being in the form of a Brahmin, beating that drum. From the sound of the drum, these and similar confessional verses issued forth. Then the Bodhisattva Vicharaketu awoke and remembered those verses at once. Having remembered those verses, when night came to an end, he, along with many thousands of beings, left the great city of Rajagriha. He arrived at Vulture Peak, where the Tathagata was. Having reached there, he prostrated himself at the feet of the Tathagata, circumambulated the Tathagata 3 times, and sat to one side. Sitting to one side, the Bodhisattva Vicharaketu bowed to the Tathagata with hands folded in respect, and recited those confessional verses he heard coming forth from the drum. This ends the third chapter, the chapter on seeing the dream, from the King of Glorious Sutras, the Sublime Golden Light.